Good evening, this is Walter Concrete.
And I'm David Grinkley.
And that was the news for December 31st, 1962. As this year comes to a close, we pause briefly to consider what seemed like news, but which, over the decades to come, will prove to have been flashes in the pan.
You're saying, Walter, that some of the people and some of the new ideas that have attracted a lot of attention in 1962, this great year, will, in, say, 50 years, turn out to have been completely forgotten.
Completely. Such as this fellow Fidel Castro.
Oh, yes. Yes, the leader of that revolution down there in Cuba and a major player in the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yes, he's talked about now, but he'll never last. Not with our government's plan to convince the Cuban people that we're their friends.
Yes.
Within months, he'll go back to playing baseball. By the year 2012, we'll all take Cuban vacations. And good cigars will be cheaper than ever. As they say, David, ay caramba.
Entonces, los aficionados de deportes podrían jugar con los hombres del sur.
Whoa there, mister. I didn't say we'd all be bilingual. That's just un-American.
Yes. Well, Walter, what is another flash in the pan?
This idea of the personal computer. You've heard of that, I suppose.
I think I have. But it sounds crazy. The nearest computer I know of is in a warehouse in Poughkeepsie. And why would I want to build a warehouse in my backyard?
A crazy idea, but promoted recently. That we'd each have some kind of computer weighing less than 200 pounds, with which to balance our checkbook, send and receive mail, track our weekly schedules, and look up information.
Well, Walter, that's absurd.
An understatement. The very idea that we'd have to give up our slide rules, our red-blooded postal service, our wall calendar, and our perfectly good set of Encyclopedia Britannicas, that's no more likely than television being beamed to us using space satellites, using phones that weren't linked by vast networks of wire.
Well, Walter, surely those are all the flashes in the pan for this great year, 1962.
I'm afraid not, David.
No.
Here's another one we'll have forgotten. The Beatles.
Oh, yes.
This young rock and roll group of mop-top kids from Britain playing ridiculous songs like Love Me Do. Well, boys, love you we don't.
That's right. I'll agree with you there. We've already have all the good music we need coming from talents like Pat Boone and Perry Como. Why, those Beatles can keep on screaming what they call music, but no bug is going to get close enough to my daughter to hold her hand. And as far as I'm concerned, the only good insect is a dead insect. And that reminds me, it's time to mention our sponsor, Raid. Yes, produced by the leading scientists from DDT and Freon, capable of killing any insect within miles, and yet surely safe for our wives and children to breathe.
Thank you, David. You know, that reminds me of another flash in the pan. The dunk.
What? Did you say junk?
No, the dunk. It's a new thing basketball players have attempted to do during games, leaping recklessly from their feet and thrusting the basketball downward through the hoop with explosive force. I had to ask my wife and daughter to look away. It's just too dangerous and, well, unsportsmanlike.
Certainly true. Someone could get hurt. Unfortunately, Americans will not accept that kind of cheap shot. Why, soon the basketball commissioners, I'm sure, will come to their senses and prohibit that freakish behavior. It's far more likely we'll see the revival of the set lob shot.
We have some footage of a recent dunk by Mr. Wilt Chamberlain, who scored 100 points in one game playing for the Philadelphia Warriors. Now, is that fair?
Clearly not. Let's go to that footage now. So, who wants to see that kind of excess? I mean, Americans will always prefer to watch these athletes earning 2 points by the hard work of good form and patience, without the high risk involved in jumping up so high. Are we to become crickets or kangaroos?
No, we are human beings, and 50 years from now, with God's grace, we'll still be here with our feet planted safely on the earth. I think we'll probably see basketball shots continue like they are in 1962, and I think we have some footage of some classic shots.
Yes, let's go to that footage
the way
now.
That basketball is played today.
That's right. So, clearly, that's an American tradition that we will never see fade away.
Superb athleticism, don't you think?
I think so. Thank God we live in a country like this.
Absolutely. Well, David, that's an in-depth look at the high-profile events and trends of 1962. But now let's take stock of the state of things in the bedrock of America. And to do that, as we always do, we go on the road with Charles Gestalt.
I'm Charles Gestalt. Welcome to a new series on CBS called On the Road. And here we are, on the road in beautiful Kalamazoo, Michigan.
That's next week.
I'm sorry. Here we are in beautiful, or outside of beautiful Abington, Virginia.
That's with a D.
That's Dabbington, Virginia.
Not at the beginning.
Abingdon, Virginia, where we have found a nice country church that is combining with one or two other small country churches to create a new congregation in town. The changes going on in this country are remarkable, and we're here to document those changes. And so, come with me in an investigation of a new church called St. John Lutheran. Here we are at St. John Lutheran Church, the creation of these two smaller chapels, and we're at this new church in order to get to know some of these local folks with their new congregation. Let's go inside. Here we are inside St. John Lutheran Church, where we hope to meet some of the local folk. They understand they're celebrating not only the beginning of this congregation, but the founding of the new Lutheran Church in America. And this congregation has decided to do that by having something they're calling a fupa. We found a member of the congregation to come in here and tell us about it. Hi, what's your name?
Greer, E.O. Greer.
Well, Mr. Greer, a pleasure to meet you. E.O., is it? Well,
people call me Slick.
Is it people call you Slick?
Yeah.
You wouldn't happen to know why, would you?
I have no idea.
No, I can't imagine why they would do that. But now I understand that y'all are having a FUPA. Can you tell me what that is?
FUPA stands for Future Pastors of America.
Future Pastors of America. Now, and you're having some kind of a competition, I gather.
We're having a Bible Bowl.
A Bible Bowl.
That's right. We have some of the smartest 6-year-old future pastors to be inside here. In a few moments, we're going to have a Bible Bowl, and we're going to see which one of them knows their Bible the best.
Well, that's exciting stuff. 6-year-old future pastors. Well, I can't wait.
Me either. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this year's annual FUPA Bible Bowl. This is the national finals, and we welcome you to today's competition. And now I'd like to introduce our competitors. From Little Marion, Virginia, we have Jimmy Bangle. And from Chattanooga, Tennessee, we have Little Frankie Honeycutt. And from Delano, Florida, we have, well, not so little, Kenty Peterson. And from a town so small in North Carolina they don't even have a name yet, we have Little Scotty Holmesley. And you know, Charles, since you're our guest here from CBS News, we were wondering if you wouldn't mind asking the first round of questions for us.
Sure.
Now y'all can be seated and we'll get ready for the competition.
Aren't these great little youngsters? Let's start with Mr. Jimmy Bangle. What a cute little tyke you are. I'm going to ask you this one. How many giraffes were on Noah's Ark?
Your question shows a lot of hubris. Must from the Greek, you know. The importance of this story is the new covenant between the Creator God and His creation. So, why are you asking me about giraffes? Do you want to be a zookeeper or something?
Well, he's a sharp one, isn't he? I guess we'll also notice that he's got a rather deep voice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think we better ask another boy. We're going to go to the next boy, Frankie Honeycutt. Frankie, on what animal was Jesus riding when he came into Jerusalem?
I'll need some clarification first. Should I reference the book of Matthew or Mark?
Matthew.
It's actually quite odd. You can check me on this, but Jesus comes riding on both a colt and a donkey. Quite an image, isn't it? The point being, Christ's victory is imminent. And here he is straddling two worlds.
Yes, that's interesting. Food for thought. We'll go to maybe some harder questions next. I can see we're going to have to ask some more challenging questions. Let's go now to little or big Kenty Peterson. Now, Kenty, Jesus often compared himself to a lamb. What other animal did he compare himself to?
Well, the mother hen, of course. And it shows up twice in the Gospels. Matthew chapter 23 and Luke chapter 13. How often have I desired to gather your children together, as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing.
Well, I'm not sure what to say to that one. We'll go to our last contestant. We've got one more contestant, little Scotty Holmesley. Now, Scotty, I'm going to give you a tough one. Name a reptile that in the book of Leviticus is a forbidden food.
Well, what you seem to be forgetting is that it's not what defiles a person is not what goes into him, but what comes out. But I'll humor you. The lizard.
Okay, well that's...
Well, I'm not finished yet. There's the gecko, the chameleon, the sand lizard, and my personal favorite, because I want to be one of those swamp people when I grow up, crocodile.
Well, that's boy, isn't it amazing the young people we have today? Could the future of our church be in better hands? I don't think so. And so, Walter, back to you. The great news is, I think we can be sure that the future leadership of our church has never been in finer hands.